What's up, and welcome into another edition of Why Start a Podcast. I'm Braden Surprenant. That's Matt Perez. That's Will Galvez, who was battling inner demons in his stomach as he went to Allen Fieldhouse over the weekend and got a little shaken up. Will, how you feeling, buddy? Are we solid again, or are we still liquids?
Solid. As gross as that sounds to describe. Yeah. A lot better. Thank you for checking in. Yeah, I had a great weekend. That was a lot of fun. Knocked off a bucket list item for sure, going to Allen Fieldhouse. It was extremely badass. A lot of fun. Went with some coworkers who are alumni, and they show me the ropes and the dive bars around, and it was a blast and met a lot of people. It was the aftermath though, and the plane ride back, which sucked, and got a pretty gnarly stomach bug. Couldn't really hold anything down. Just puking and diarrhea. It was just beautiful. It was awesome. But I feel a lot better. A lot of electrolytes and medicine. And now I'm here with you guys. But if this was last night, I probably would have been absent and missed my first episode. So appreciate you checking in. The Big 12 is so annoying. Basketball. I just lost a bet.
It's good basketball, man.
It's outstanding. It's just horrible to bet on. But no, man, good weekend. Feeling better. Thanks for checking in. How are you, Braden? How are you, Matt?
Doing well. How's the fog?
Not
though?
Sick.
Did you get the full info on the fog? Had a good time?
Yeah.
That's good.
It was.
Was there any sign of Big J?
Yeah, where's Big J?
How was Big J looking?
Did you see?
Yeah, he was good. God, Matt, you love mascots, don't you? Like is that your thing that gets you off? Is it just the mascots around the arena?
I was a mascot guy as a kid, but I think I've turned over that leaf in my life into being a mascot guy.
Perez told a story one time about he used to be afraid of mascots as a child, and now he's obsessed with them.
Oh, yeah, you're like more than obsessed with them.
And like Blue Muse, like the little Petco
I feel like
those ones terrified me as a kid.
Red Ruff and Blue Muse.
Yeah,
put this guy in a box.
If Matt saw a mascot on Hinge, he would definitely swipe, right, because he would just be like, "Oh yes, Big J." He was there though. He was cool.
Was Little J there?
Yeah, he was. They performed. It was badass, man.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, Braden, you went to a Big 12 school, and like it, just the atmosphere, dude. Like it was crazy. You got to see like the original rules of basketball. Dr. Naismith. They have like an exhibit. There was just like a feel. I feel like there's certain venues in college and pro sports, I would say like maybe Cameron Indoor or where UNC plays, like Lambeau Field, probably like the old Yankee Stadium or like Wrigley or Fenway. Like there's certain arenas and fields where you're like, okay, arenas, this is right? It. You get chills, and it was not to fucking nerd out, but it was awesome. It was a great atmosphere, and it's cool, and it's just kind of geared me up for March Madness. It's like it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to check out, and it's going to be a good college basketball. I think there's a lot of parity in college basketball. We talked about that last week, but we do want to dive into some college hoops. My TCU Horned Frogs lost to Baylor last night. Tough loss, but they'll be back at it at BYU, who just knocked off Kansas moments ago. And so it's just an ever grind in the Big 12 week after week. But it's not just the Big 12, dude. The Mountain West is an absolute gauntlet right now with the top 6 teams in conference. We got a big game for the Aztecs tonight as they will tip off here in about 30 minutes. God, 8:00 tips are brutal, especially for you that has to watch that game at 9:00 at night, Mountain Time. Yeah. But the Aztecs are favored by 22.5 tonight against San Jose State. And I know we had Joe Lenardi's bracketology come out, and as of right now, I know Matt Perez has the info on that. We got some pretty good matchups coming up here in the near future, and some new teams potentially making the tournament. I'm looking forward to this tournament. I think it's anybody's tournament, to be honest with you.
Probably more than any other year in recent memory. It's kind of anybody's tournament. There's no dominant player outside of Zach Edey being really tall. And that's the same for every team. There's no real thing as like a dominant team. Like, yes, Houston's number 1 overall, team right now, according to the poll, but Joe Lenardi's got Purdue as a number 1 team in his tournament, right? So there's no true number 1 team like there has been in previous years.
As a fan of an 8-9 potential team, like you're going to match up with a 1 next, I'm not afraid of Purdue as a TCU fan. I'm not afraid of Arizona. I grew up an Arizona fan. I know they're not a top 5 team. I don't know what people see in them. And TCU already beat Houston once this year. I mean, they've already beaten the number 1 seed. Granted, that was at home. It's a lot different when you're playing in the tournament. And they kind of caught them off the first couple of Big 12 games for the school. But I'm not afraid of the 1 seeds. I'm not really afraid of a lot of these seeds. I think there are a lot of teams that are, like a TCU that have the talent and the speed to get to the Final Four. And they also are so inconsistent, they can get rolled in the first round. I think San Diego State's in that category. There's a lot of teams that are just dark horses. Like messing with Grand Canyon as a 12 seed is not going to be fun. Playing Irvine is not going to be fun for a big school. My sister's school, High Point, is potentially going to make the tournament for the first time ever in school history if they can win their conference tournament in the Big South at home. They get to host it, and they've been really good. They might be able to, get on somebody. So I think it's going to be fun, man. I mean, you got blue bloods that are at like 5 and 6 seeds now instead of the usual 1-2s. You got a seed in BYU that was supposed to be a 7 seed, just knocked off Kansas. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Plus, there might be 6 teams from the Mountain West in the tournament, and you never know what those teams are going to show up and be like.
I can't wait to use PTO and just eat an abundant amount of shitty food and drink beer and watch every one of these games and gamble on all of them. It's the best. I think March Madness is better than Christmas, honestly. Like I would
first 2 days,
those first 2 days,
the best.
And I mean, before like working when I was still working in sports, like, there's a job at hand. Now, like what I do is it's not that hard at all. So it's like, all right, I'm definitely taking those days off. And Matt, I'm sure you feel the same way as Braden does, as I do. I mean, and we'll get to this as we get closer, but man, those first 2 days, God, I'm getting chills. Like it is so like, remember, okay, like how old were you guys like when you first started like seeing all of the score bugs? Like, like when TBS and TNT and what is it, True TV, like it is just like continuous score bugs across the top. Like, it is hilarious. I think I was like maybe elementary school, like when I was like, my dad would show me, all right, look at all these games. I didn't really understand the concept yet. And then just knowing that there's like 64 teams that are simultaneously going to be playing within a span of like 8 hours. It's unreal. It's amazing.
I was super into brackets when I was a kid. And then my mom was like, oh, you should, this is the best bracket of them all, because she went to Arizona.
It's a wildcat take.
She would always watch March Madness. In fact, when my parents were in the hospital waiting for me to be born, they were watching March Madness games, like, because I was born in March. So it was kind of ingrained in me at a young age. And so I think I filled out my first bracket, and I didn't like predict it, but I would make a huge bracket and just kind of follow along and fill out my own thing. I think I did that my first time for like I was 9 or 10. Yeah. And I remember like back in the day when not all of the games were on a station you could watch. Like it was only CBS. And then like every once in a while you could find it on like TNT. It was some other station. I forgot, TBS maybe. And then you would have to like watch the bug in the corner, like the little score update ones. You couldn't flip it back and forth. They don't have the viewing process like they have now. And I remember sitting there like watching scores as you're watching the game, going like, oh, that game's getting close, or like that was a blowout. Now it's tight. And I remember in elementary school, the teachers would put it on like while we were in class.
Yes. The
kids would be freaking out watching the game. Everybody had their own bracket, like, oh, I had Texas A&M in this one. And the cool teachers would put it on because they would want to watch too on a Thursday or a Friday. It's top level stuff.
I was much older in my basketball viewing experience. I probably wasn't until I was in like 7th or 8th grade where I started.
Still really young.
Like remember like watching the tournament.
Right.
It was the same deal though. Like we would get a teacher to throw it on the big screen. And then, you'd be sneaking your phone in and underneath the desk, right, to watch the 3 other games that are running at the same time. So that's like probably my earliest memory. Now I was like 12 or 13, but yeah, much older and farther along in my basketball journey compared to you guys were.
It makes like college basketball so much fun.
Do you still, so like, obviously we do the brackets like with ESPN with our buddies from school or, work or whatever. Like, I'll admit, I still fill out a paper bracket. Like, this is another nerd out moment. Like, me and a couple of my buddies, like, will get on like FaceTime or to Zoom, whatever, have a couple of beers and just like go through the bracket one by one. And it's like the funnest time. Like, that's my video games. Like, that's how much of a blast I have doing it. And then we'll go back and forth. And then we all end up just getting our brackets busted within the first like few hours. And it's like, it's one of the best traditions. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll do that probably until I die. Everyone's like, oh, I just have my phone. Like, no way. The bracket is the best. That is the best bracket. Like, I can't think of a better one.
Paper and
it's
cross out teams.
There's something about.
Yes.
Put some in Sharpie.
It's the beauty of college sports, because all of those kids are playing probably, especially the seniors, because in the NBA, I mean, they're not going to make the NBA. A lot of those guys, they're playing basketball for the final time. Like, that'll be the final time they play basketball, and they're playing for their basketball lives, and the passion and the excitement and the crowd and all that stuff. It makes it really fun. And there's a lot of cool things about college athletics that make it really fun. And one that was kind of controversial this week with storming the courts and storming fields. And you got guys like Jay Bilas that are out there, saying these outlandish things about getting rid of court stormings, and Seth Greenberg's talking about it, and all these guys. And I'm kind of in the middle. I do think it's overplayed. I think too many schools storm courts and fields for no reason. Like, they're either ranked higher, like Wake Forest was against Duke, or like you didn't beat a ranked team or a rival. I think there's some unwritten rules about storming the court and the field. And I think the more you do it, the less luster it has. It's not nearly as cool anymore, but I'm definitely not in the party of banning all of it. I think it would make college athletics very fun. It was a very interesting topic that a lot of people weighed in on. And obviously we wanted to talk about that and kind of poke fun at some of the older guys, but understanding the context that, it is starting to turn a little bit into a safety problem, because we've already had 2 this year result in student athletes getting hit by ongoing fans and other students. So I did want to kind of bring that topic up and see what you guys thought on the whole court storming. You in favor of it? Are you against it? Or do you think there should be special occasions when you do it?
Lead us off, Matt. Let's hear your take, because you were a little fired up, before we started recording.
Which is going to lead us to our next segment.
There's definitely some like unwritten rules storming a field / court. Totally. But I think the whole like luster and the whole idea of it is what makes college athletics so fun, and there should be no reason why to stop it. I mean, like, you can storm a field in college and you can't do that in the pros, right? And there are safe ways to do so. Like, I think it was UConn last week that had like in their own little like area kind of, tapered off from their bench so like those players could go into the tunnel,
which we've seen in college football.
Right.
I mean, when we were at the Tennessee-Alabama game, they did that.
Yeah.
They protected the Alabama staff and kids, and they're like, go ahead.
There are ways to, kind of cover yourself from any sort of danger. So I'm pro field storming courts. I mean, some of my best memories from college are storming the field, right? On games that you're not supposed to win, and you're doing it with your buddies, and it's just pure like 10, 15 minutes of like euphoria, right? And just because there's one instance, and I mean, let's be honest here, if it wasn't a Duke player or a player from one of these huge blue blood
remember
Caitlin
Clark had the issue?
Yeah, like nobody would care. Like, if this was like a Stetson basketball player that got hurt, it'd be like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, exactly.
When's the next court?
Don't even talk about it is the thing.
Yeah, like it wouldn't even be that worthy, So I think it's all overblown. Let the kids do what they want. It's fun. Find a way to protect your team. And if you have a problem with somebody storming the court on you, don't lose a game.
My whole thing is, I mean, how long has storming, a court or field been around? A few decades, right? Long time. Okay.
Basketball rules at Kansas, was like storming the court on the basketball rules that you saw in Kansas.
I feel like I don't know if they've ever stormed a court.
I
feel like there's certain teams Like, I don't think
win all the times. There's no reason to storm the court.
Yeah,
exactly right. Like, I don't think
it's
Kansas has
statement.
done that. I don't know if like Alabama would like storm. Anyway, so the whole point I'm trying to get to is,
I've never seen Alabama either. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like those top teams, like there's certain like that upper echelon of teams that they probably never have. My whole thing is, I think, did social media ruin this? Because
yes, absolutely.
Growing up, seeing this on Sports Center and before Twitter kind of turned into what it is now, and I'm not talking about X, we never really heard about anything. Yeah, there might have been like dust up or whatever, but what's really annoying is because I don't want to just have a chalk answer like everyone else. But yeah, I feel like the passion for college, that's what makes it really great and unique. And it's fun to watch because you're not going to do that in the pros. Come on now. But with social media, like I think we saw this with like Caleb Williams, USC. It's escaped me who they lost to. But, some asshole kid went up to him with the phone and like hit him. And so that's where it gets bad, right? The Filipowski kid from Duke, I don't know. Like it kind of looked like he lunged out. Same with Clark at Iowa. But take what you guys just said with that epic, storm rush with Tennessee and Alabama. They got to have, that's the NCAA, right? Like they got to have someone in line to like be ready for that situation. And of course, as the NCAA is, they're very worthless. And I don't even know why they exist. They don't have anything in place. So really, this is more on them than I think it is the students themselves.
Well, yeah, it's not really. Well, some of the students, but I think you're onto something with the social media. A lot of these,
it's gotten worse. It's gotten way worse. We never heard about this 8 years ago.
Any student that isn't good enough to play college sports getting in the face of a student athlete that just lost to talk shit is bullshit. And it's not about you, but that's just kind of what the Gen Z generation, like, this is what they're about, though. They're all about
no respect.
Rubbing it in. Yeah, because the thing is like none of these kids have respect because they've never been challenged or have had like any type of setback in their life because they've always been protected by, their device, typing behind their device or, adults stepping in or whatever. So, yeah, I do think a lot of the kids are ruining this experience because it shouldn't be about it shouldn't be about like rubbing it in their team's face. It should be about like celebrating your team win. So I do think it's a little bit overblown right now in terms of storming the field. Like you got like Clemson that does it after every win. Like it's
that's
a tradition.
Overplayed.
That's overplayed. You beat Bethune-Cookman at home for like the FCS game you get to play, and you're storming the field. Dumbest thing ever. I'm sure they're dialed in about
the charge too.
Team, right? But to me, college athletics definitely has to do a better job of protecting the opposing team and being able to, keep the tradition. Otherwise, what's going to happen is someone's going to get seriously hurt, whether it be a student or a student athlete, and then they're gonna ban it everywhere, and then you're never going to have it again.
They're flirting with it.
For sure.
And it's unfortunately in this era now, like that's what's going to happen. Because I remember in college, like when San Diego State beat Stanford at Qualcomm once upon a time, everyone was so amped. And for people that are like familiar with what Qualcomm, like what it was, that really tall.
Is that the game where the lights went out?
Yeah, that was the game the lights went out. It was the year after McCaffrey got drafted. Some guy jumped off that wall where like the Chargers used to play, had that big bolt on it. I mean, that's
the big side. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, some guy was so excited he jumped off and he broke his leg. No one talked about that. No one ever talked about that, But everyone was enjoying the moment, and there was, the players eventually got off. And that's the problem. I think it's back to social media, because even back then, you just didn't really go up to the other team. Like they lost. Like it's sportsmanship, right? Like why would you kick them when they're down? You just beat them. Like that's the ultimate win. And then they had to go and do that. They're going to ruin it for us. Like, would you be surprised? Would you take the over under 4.5 years? That means, sooner or later that they're going to ban it forever, where it is like, there'll be serious punishments. I mean, I would take maybe under.
I'm taking the under on that. You got guys like Jay Bilas leading the charge right now. I mean, it's all over because before
that's Matt's boy.
But we're going to get to him in a second. But before it was, like people wouldn't get as disgruntled about it. You'd see the fine and that was it. But now it's a lot of people on air and media members and people that cover the sport are like totally against it. And the narrative is changing to like, why are we doing this? This is dumb. So I think the more of that gets played in there, the more likely it's going to happen. So I would definitely take the under. But speaking of Jay Bilas, Matt Perez wants to unveil a new segment on the show because Jay Bilas really pissed him off. And there's some context here. And, we know Matt is a Washington State Coug, right?
Cougs.
Through and through. Coug through and through. And the Windsock term came around because of a Coug, because of making fun of Cougs. So I'm going to let him take the floor and explain Windsock of the week and then explain to us why Jay Bilas is the Windsock of the week.
So the term Windsock.
I love this term, by the way. I use it all the time.
We first heard it from Washington State legend and San Diego Charger legend, Ryan Leaf.
Don't talk to me, all right?
And Ryan Leaf used it last fall in response to Lee Corso and the College Game Day set as a whole for their stance on the entire Pac-2 dilemma in Washington State and Oregon State. And basically, he was using the term Windsock to say that ESPN is just taking the stance that's most popular. And what does a windsock do? It blows with the wind, right? Whichever way the wind's blowing, you've heard that term before, right? Oh, you just take whichever way the wind's blowing. It's like being like a fair weather fan, essentially. So the Windsock of the week is essentially a weekly highlight where, we're going to highlight somebody that is being a windsock and taking whichever direction of the wind. In this case, it's going to be Jay Bilas for his quote on what he said about court storming and backing up John Schreier and, Bill Self and all the blue bloods, all the guys that quote unquote run college basketball. And he essentially said if they wanted to stop it, they could stop it tomorrow. One time, all you have to do is once they get on the court, don't let them off and give all the college kids citations and arrest them if they want to. And then court stormings will stop the next day. Right. That's what Jay said. I don't know. I mean, I know that Jay's been out of college, but
there's some truth to that.
Giving college kids citations, I think they already do that for some things.
Remember, Jay Bilas
and that doesn't stop anything.
He is a lawyer. He is a licensed lawyer. So that's like him being his Windsock lawyer self.
Right. But you're saying you're going to give kids citations. That doesn't stop kids from doing anything.
Well, I mean, if they started arresting a bunch of people for it, first of all, that would be ridiculous.
I mean, are you going to arrest 12,000 kids at one time?
If you trap
Are there 12,000 citation officers on deck ready for
that? Ever. But
that's such a joke.
Theoretically do that. Well, my question is, let's say the Padres win a playoff series and 40,000 people storm the field. What do you do?
I don't think they would.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that Drewski meme.
What do you do? So using that logic, it's not like they could. What Jay Bilas is saying is somewhat correct. Like if they all got like in serious trouble for it individually, it would probably like people would have second thoughts before doing it. But the realistic expectations for pulling that off, like the execution of that is almost impossible. So it's not like he's half right. Like, would it discourage people to storm? Probably, but I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. It's kind of one of those situations. Like there's more of us than there are of them. There's nothing they could do about it.
Like, are you going to put a fence around a basketball court?
That'd be kind of lame.
And be like, all right, hey, you got to climb the fence.
Well, yeah, not to sound like Project X or anything, but like think of what is the primary demographic of the people storming the court or field? They're the students, right? And about 90% of them are pretty liquored up and just amped from the win. Like I don't want to say that there'd be like a stampede, but like there's not enough people to enforce those citations. And if you had 2 to like 10 to 20 idiots that are like, screw this, just bombard them, that's where it would get really sketchy. And then you're not like the SEC wouldn't do that. Are you kidding me? Like how would they stop that Tennessee Bama game? There's no way in hell. Basketball, it's a little more confined, obviously, because it's a smaller venue, but still, it's not like that would be, I don't know. I understand. It's like all these media members, like It's like, tell us how old you are without telling us how old you are. And I do understand, like, yes, there is a safety aspect, because if there was a significant injury and it's a matter of time before it happens, it's going to suck. But this has been going on for decades. Like, I don't like, I would love for someone to run the report. I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet with all the analytic nerds out. Like, how many injuries has there actually been? Right? Like, how many, like, of all the upsets, and there's only like a handful, right? Because it only happens, maybe a few times a season. Multiply and extrapolate that over, a few decades. It's not that much. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Well, I'm thinking, like, remember in like the 70s, guys that ran around the bases with Hank Aaron after he broke
the
home run record?
Yeah.
And then the guys with Reggie Jackson at Yankee Stadium.
They had some guys like get on the field for sure.
Right. So, I mean it's happened in professional sports, and it's not a storm.
70s.
Exactly. It's gone on for over 50 years.
That was like when like the Padres and Braves got into the brawl, like fans were out there fighting. Like they got
Malice at the Palace.
Right. Malice at the Palace. Oh my
God.
Malice
at the Palace, a great one.
That was a wild event. But yeah, I think it's easier for football to kind of keep it safer with the opposing team. Basketball is a lot different. I mean, when we went to the Tennessee game, they were helping people onto the field. Security was helping people onto the field to go have a good time, like, and celebrate, because they got Alabama out of there. And there was no real issues, at least that I saw, between the team and the Tennessee fans. So interesting topic of conversation. Do you have any Windsocks of the week there, Will, or are we just going to let Jay Bilas be our guy, which is fine. That's totally fine.
I want to let Matt just steal. I mean, I don't think we could pick a better one just for this moment in time. Yeah, Jay Bilas. I mean, there's a lot of, thoughts.
He's a Windsock for a lot of reasons.
On Jay Bilas. Yeah.
He's
that's excessive. Like that, there's no way. And I understand he has a platform and he gets to, because that's what's annoying now, right? Like all the media and all the talking heads, like they just feel like they have this platform. And it's just like, who can outdo, each other with the most out? Like, that's outlandish. Come on. Like that, there's no way that would be even feasible. There's no way.
He's our Windsock of the week. Will, I expect you to have a Windsock of the week next week?
I will be prepared. Matt just loves blindsiding me with all these segments. So
I
appreciate you keeping me on my toes.
It was on there.
He had it on the rundown
hours ago.
Too bad you were throwing up. Hey, Stetson had it.
I want to throw in a quick little interjection here.
The Cougs finally take the lead.
We got a 7-7 ball game in Fort Worth in the top of the 10th.
It's just another Tuesday for the Frogs. It's the Washington State World Series. It's all right. We'll see how it goes.
Cougs have been on a tear against top 5 programs.
Tuesday night. They're worried. TCU's worried about Arizona tomorrow, and then SC and Arizona State, and they're playing the entire Pac-12 in baseball this week for after they swept UCLA. They got bigger fish to fry there, Perez. Speaking of baseball, good transition. That was good. That's some radio like that.
Not the first rodeo.
No, it's your 5th. Padres baseball.
It's my 5th time.
Padres baseball has started. Spring training has started for everybody now in baseball. And, we were talking off air on some other things, but the reality of the situation is with each coming day, it just seems like this is the Padres roster that they're going to go with. And on my show on Sunday, I mentioned my colleague, Sam Levitt, who put out the lineup for Saturday's game, saying this could be the opening day lineup. And to which I said, I'm not throwing Sammy under the bus here because there might be some truth to this, but I'm going to tell you right now, if the Padres opening day lineup is what they rolled out on Saturday, this team is in a world of hurt.
Better be beer fest every night at the ballpark.
That lineup,
one of those.
That lineup, my Lord. I mean, it was the top 6 are fine. Like your top 5 are solid. The Padres have 5 solid players at the top of their order. I think Luis Camposano is going to be good. He was batting 6th. I think that's fine as well. But they had on Saturday afternoon against the Brewers, in which they lost 11-7. Not that it really matters. But that Padres lineup, here, you ready for it? They had Fernando, they had Jake Cronenworth, then they had Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Hassan Kim, Luis Camposano. Not bad. Top 6. It's fine. Jackson Merrill, Eggy Rosario, Jose Azocar. Are those bottom 3 guys worse than what they had last year with David David Dahl and Adam Engel and God, who else? I can't even they had one though. One was in there, but you can't tell me that is a legit Padres lineup. Where you're like, I'm afraid of these guys.
No. Why? We don't even have to pretend. No, that'll be exposed, and it's a great feel-good story. And we talked before, and I'm very flexible on how we could go about this because we had some very differentiating opinions. But no, top 6 is solid. That's fine. It's interchangeable. You can move it around. My biggest question is, I don't know where the reinforcements are coming from, and to the credence that you put into Sammy's tweet that potentially could be the lineup. I would be concerned if you're a Padres fan, right? Like that is opening day will be fun, but the second day and beyond and the rest of the season, that's a liability. I mean, I don't. Are we being too harsh? Like, I don't think that's harsh criticism at all.
I'm gonna go through it right now. I went through it on my show on Sunday. This is your 26. I mean, let's start putting together this 26-man roster for a second.
Let's put together the puzzle.
Here's your 40-man. The Padres have 37 players on their 40-man roster. They have 3 open spots. They currently are holding 13 position players on their 40-man. They're relatively standard for the most part. Your outfield right now is Profar in left, which is not going to be the everyday starter. They've already said that. But as of right now, I mean, he's out there. If you're just going off 40-man players, which you need to have on your major league roster, you have 4 outfielders. You have Profar, Azocar, Tatis, and Tucupita Marcano. You have 6 infielders. You have Machado, Kim, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Matthew Batten, and Eggy Rosario, and you have 3 catchers. You have Luis Camposano, you have Kyle Higashioka, and you have Brett Sullivan. Out of all those 13 players that I mentioned, Profar is going to be on the team, Tatis is going to be on the team, Machado, Kim, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Camposano, and Higashioka. There's 8 guys, and you need 5 more, right? Yeah, you need 5 more guys to make the team. Right now, it's Azocar, Marcano, Rosario, Batten, and Sullivan. I doubt they carry 3 catchers. And if you look at their non-roster invites, I mean, you got Jackson Merrill, you got Cal Mitchell, Tisor Nealis, you got Matt's cousin, Robert Perez Jr., not his cousin. You have Jacob Marcy, you have Oscar Mercado, who hit 2 homers today. Martorella, Graham Pauley, Mason McCoy, Mondu, Wade, Castanyon, and then you have other backstops in Plawecki, Salas, and Siegel. I mean, where's your team? Like, where's your depth? You put that together, and as much as you look at the 4 guys you have in the outfield, right, with Azocar and Marcano, how much of an upgrade are the guys that are in camp that are not on the 40-man going to be over a guy like Jose Azocar?
Not much. Half of the list that you just rattled off, and huge shout out to Ethan Salas too. He's stud.
He's going to be a stud.
Years away. None. I'll just say. I mean, I think every eyebrow should be raised right now, because we're not factoring in, and we need to be realistic. There are going to be injuries this season, particularly in the outfield, and every team goes through it. And to not have solidified depth, I can't even point to where you would go, right? Like, are they going to throw darts and just see what sticks and like, hey, I like this one? Because I feel like spring training stats can also be fickle, and this is no dig in particular to Jackson Merrill as well, who we can still kind of put this out because I feel like everyone has their own take on him. I don't know what they're going to do out there. And it's only Fernando's 2nd season starting in the outfield. So is this the weakest part of the team on the roster?
The outfield?
I don't know.
I would say so. Either that or the starting pitching. Probably outfield then starting pitching.
I would say that. I mean,
it's not the bullpen. That's your number one spot.
I think it's one of the strengths.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or your infield.
Nah, your bullpen's pretty loose.
Defensively, yeah, but if you're factoring in behind,
you don't have a proven closer.
But
you got 4 dudes that can close. I mean, they got 8 guys that are plus arms.
Anybody theoretically can close. It's the situations that you're in and being able to do it.
They don't have a Josh Hader back there, but they got
Bob Suarez. That's all that matters.
A lot of guys, and we'll get the pitching staff in a second. But continue.
I mean, you got to find a way to replace the 35 home runs and the 110 RBIs that were driven in from your left fielder last year, who's no longer on the team.
Which, by the way,
they haven't done that. I mean, Profar ain't going to hit 35 pumps.
But before you even get to that, by the way, I think a lot of people were, especially Padres fans, didn't want Soto to be traded, but understood that they could use that money elsewhere, right? Well, if they're going to pay him $30 million, I would rather have $30 million spread amongst other spots because we can't afford to have one guy making that much money. We have this many roster holes, but they traded him, and then they did not invest in that money. And so now it's like, well, what did we trade him for? We could have kept him. You got good pitchers, but you didn't get blow away guys where you're in a spot going, I'm so glad we got Michael King and Johnny Brito and Randy Vasquez and Drew Thorpe. I mean, those are good, solid guys. I think Michael King has the ability to be a really good starting pitcher, maybe a 2 or a 1, in the next couple of years. But this Juan Soto deal looks worse and worse by the day if you're not reinvesting that money into your roster.
Would you say that King's probably what, a 3, a 4?
He's a 3 right now.
Yeah,
he's got the stuff and the mental makeup and everything to be. The Yankees thought he could be a stud, and I agree.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a stud. But I think you hit on it. I think he's maybe a year or 2 away, or who knows? Maybe he has a dominant year, right, and is able to really step it up.
Does that account for the 35 home runs that as Perez
no, it does not. It does not. Absolutely not. And
unless you hope Jake Cronenworth turns the clock back to 2021, 2022, but he's not a power guy.
I'm telling you right now, they are putting. I have no. See, here's the thing. We're probably all in agreement on the Jackson Merrill situation, right? We all think he's probably going to be really good. He's got the measurables. I love his confidence, but I think all of us agree that he's probably not ready at age 20 to be an everyday starting outfielder, especially when he's a shortstop by trade. I'm not worried about his defense. I'm more worried about whether or not he can hit a major league fastball. And then when he can hit the major league fastball, can he hit the major league curve and the major league slider and then the changeup and all the other pitches that he's going to get after he learns how to hit the major league fastball and teams figure out how to attack Jackson Merrill. I think he's going to be a great player, but this is where fans and Padres fans have just been so about Jackson Merrill. He's the second coming of Fernando Tatis Jr., which he's not. I'm sorry. And so it's going to sound like we're haters, but the reality is he's just not ready yet. Let's put it in perspective. I was talking about this with you guys before we started. If Jackson Merrill makes the opening day roster for the Padres, which he's projecting to do so, in the media is talking all about this. If he makes the opening day roster and he's your starting center fielder, he would have made it to the big leagues in less games played in Double-A than Fernando, then Manny Machado, then Bryce Harper, and Mike Trout, and Adrian Beltre, and so many different potential Hall of Famers, current Hall of Famers, and superstars in Major League Baseball. They said, the Padres did, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. You can answer it for me. Let's define what the Padres said for a second. They said, we will have Jackson Merrill on our team if he earns that spot. What do we mean by earning that spot? Do we mean he is better? He is a starting left fielder. He's one of those guys that's going to be a starting left fielder in Major League Baseball, and all these teams would love to have him, and he's earned his way because he outdid starting outfielders in Major League Baseball? Or are we saying he earns it because he does better than his competition, which is Jose Azocar and Tucupita Marcano and Oscar Mercado and fellow young product in Jacob Marcy, who won the Arizona Fall League MVP in a year the Arizona Fall League, by the way, had the worst pitching they've seen in years. Is Jackson Merrill earning his spot because he's one of the better because he's a major league starting outfielder for the Padres? Or is he earning his spot because he just has to do better than Jose Azocar?
The latter. And he's probably more athletic than everybody that he's trying to compete.
He's better than his
against.
Competition. Right.
Right. But
does
you gotta
that
look at
mean
whose competition
But
is.
what I'm saying is that worth hampering another year of development to help him to make him the best for the Padres?
No, and here's the thing that's kind of fascinating when you kind of look back to other instances where the Padres have had a top
CJ
10 prospect and they rushed him to the major league. CJ Abrams, 100%. CJ Abrams had 41 more games played in the minor leagues, and he had better offensive numbers. And the Padres put him in the big league roster of no true place to play.
Which I said at the time,
but it was a mistake.
Dumb. Like, you can't have him on the bench. At
Right.
least with Merrill, it sounds like he's going to be a starter, but still.
But I mean, the guy's played 200 big league or 200 minor league games, and he's hitting 270 against minor league pitching. I mean,
talking about Merrill?
Fine. Yeah, Merrill.
He's played in 40 AA games.
Right.
That's insanity.
Right. And he's going to be a good player. I don't think there's any question about that.
100%.
But the Padres have shown that they're what's the word I'm looking for? That like the way that they bring players up,
they're notorious for rushing players,
right.
And the guys that know that, and they say that all the time.
It doesn't always work. CJ Abrams, Luis Urias, they rushed Luis Campusano.
Yeah,
he was up in the COVID year.
Yeah,
and
they needed him.
Yeah, and they needed him, and it's 2024, and it's still like, all right, hey, maybe he'll be
Cronenworth
catching
wasn't
70-30.
One of their products, but he only played because Eric Hosmer had the shits for a week.
Yeah,
that was it. I mean, he was sick. And Jake Cronenworth filled in and hit like a couple of home runs. They're like, well, we can't get rid of this guy.
Right.
And then he got a big contract. And he's like, he never, aside from the COVID year and the second half of 2022, or like the small part where he had an impact, he never like showed he deserved to be at the major league level. And the team continues to do the same thing of rushing these guys because they need them. And the other thing too is they sell these players as the savior of the franchise. I mean, how many times have we heard the conversation that we're hearing about Jackson Merrill for Padres prospects? I remember they thought Austin Hedges was going to be the greatest catcher ever. I remember when they said like Corey Spangenberg was going to be legit. I was about to say him. Yeah, Hunter Renfroe was supposed to be like awesome.
Manny Margot.
They brought up Anthony Rizzo and gave him a very small look at the pros, and they kind of rushed him up too. And then they traded his ass within like, how many games did he play? Like 20 games with the Padres? 25 games. That was nice. I mean, he didn't get a lot, right? So here's where.
And then wins the World Series.
Here's where the Padres make the mistakes, right? So they did the same thing with CJ. They ended up trading him. They got Juan Soto back. You had to give up something good to get something good in return. But if CJ was super legit, they probably would have held on to him and found a different way to get Juan Soto. So in theory, they did, quote unquote, give up on CJ Abrams. They gave up on Anthony Rizzo. And my question is, with all this hype that this player is getting and having to go out there on a major league, because all of his success right now is from spring training, which we all know is not real. Guys are working on stuff. They're trying to get ready to go. If Jackson Merrill gets off to a rough start, are the Padres fans going to turn on him like they've turned on other guys? And then are the Padres going to catastrophically trade him because of the small sample size, and then he turns into a perennial all-star for somebody else?
I mean, we've seen this movie how many times now? How many examples did we just list off?
Too many times.
I'm wishing the best for him. Look, I love the confidence. It's just baseball, man. Everyone's got good pitches. Everyone knows how to work you, pitch you different days, but it's just baseball at the end of the day. I love it. Okay. You know what? Have that, mindset at the plate. It's great. He played 46 games at AA, and there comes unique experience. I've seen this now, and we're about to witness it again for the umpteenth time with another Padres prospect playing a different position that he was drafted and trained his entire life to play. And I don't want to be negative, but just based off of experience and numbers and analytics, because that's all the game is now, they're going to attack him at the plate. And because of the lack of experience, I would probably bet he's not going to have a lot of success. And that's not his fault.
This is what they're going to do.
That's why I feel like he would be better suited. But because the Padres, I don't want to say made a short-sighted trade because we don't really know with the prospects and players we got back from Soto going to New York. But in the moment right now, they're scrambling and they're not spending any money on any free agents off the street. So I don't know. Like, where are we just handcuffed?
They're really all in on the they're really pushing the young guys for sure. They're 100% pushing the young guys, probably a little bit more than they need to. I will say, so this is what they're going to do with Jackson. Like, even if Jacob Marcy or Grant Pauly make the team, if they go with all three of those guys, I mean, you're really reaching, I think. But they're going to attack. They're going to attack Merrill with the fastball. They're going to see if he can hit the fastball. And then once he hits the fastball, they're going to start throwing some off speed and see if he can hit the off speed. I mean, that's just how they're going to go through the projection. And teams with good analytics and scouting are going to figure him out. And when Jackson Merrill goes through that and then makes the adjustment is when you're going to see whether or not Jackson Merrill can play at the major league level. And that's what the minor leagues are for him to do that in the minor leagues. Like, go through bad times, figure it out, flip it, make the adjustment. And that's part of the process of playing in the minor leagues is, the mental side of it as well. And I think you're really hampering this kid from being a potential fill. I mean, you want to be young in 2 years and hang on to your prospects. That's great, but don't rush them to the major leagues when you don't need to. You could have filled with some placeholders. I think the Padres are a year away from being the 2023 Diamondbacks with the young guys. They're just not there yet, and they want to get to that spot and save money. And a lot of it has to go back to the contracts. I think we talk about their pitching staff next week. What do you think?
Yeah,
we talk about their pitching staff next week. We got to get into our next thing. We are ranking best place to get a beer. Is that what you said?
I think I need a beer after that.
Are you excited for the season? How hyped are you, Will?
Yes, I am excited for the season, and I'm ready to be pissed off. Probably the second day because I feel confident. The Padres always come out. Actually, I don't know because they're playing in Korea, and I don't know the time difference. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be
being pissed off at 3 a.m.
I did that last weekend, so it's okay. So I'll be just fine.
Doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that'd be great, but it's setting up to be like 2019 where like they get off to a good start and then they're just
it's because of the lack of depth too. And that's the problem. Like this is an indictment on the front office. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have no clue. 100%. But that's who else would you blame? Like there has been no.
You have nobody to blame.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
All right. We need to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I need a beer. Give me a beer, please.
All right. Well, let's rank the best 5 places to get a beer. Where does it hit the most in our this week top 5 rankings? Let's talk about it for a second. So this was proposed to us in the group text. We were inspired by something else on social media. Wanted to give our own top 5 ranking for this, and I get the premise now. It's kind of like different locations to drink a beer, like where it hits the best.
Just the best place to drink a beer.
Right. They got at a hotel bar, maybe at the airport, happy hour beer, at the beach, golf course. I mean, those are some of the ones that are the best. It seems the most crisp beer ever.
Is it fine if we get super specific?
It touches your lips.
You want to be like a specific place?
Well, yeah.
Like a specific bar?
No, but like specific situation.
I think that's fine.
Like if you say airport beer, but maybe, you like to have your airport beer at 6 a.m. Maybe you're one of those.
Oh, like a morning airport beer.
Right.
Okay, you're not saying like.
Is there a difference between the
gay bar at
beer and
Lindbergh Field?
I do. I'm going to put that out there. I do, but
guy loves
not like locations,
Guy loves getting a cocktail at the Taco Bell cantina. Guys dialed in. Who went first? You went first last week, didn't you? Did Will go first on the other one?
I did go first.
You went
I went
first.
I went first on when I drafted the best mascots, by the way, just throwing it out there that I had a major comeback and I had the best list.
Your
just
first,
saying.
Your first round pick was pumping you up on Instagram.
I mean, the guy he's a verified mascot, and Matt was just berating him like comment after comment. So I think I got a good reaction. I'm just saying.
He's a company man, Will. He's trying to get engaged.
Will had the first draft pick, but what about the rank? What did we rank the first week? We ranked
songs.
The songs.
I think I went first for that one too.
You did. All right, it's Will's turn to go first.
I got the number one pick. Oh, hell yeah.
It's not a draft.
It's not a draft.
You're just ranking the five best places to drink a beer.
I mean, obviously, man, we already talked about it, but I want to say the airport. I'm taking the airport. It's an easy one. It's the best. I did it just a couple days ago.
You do know we're not drafting, right?
Huh?
You do know we're not drafting. That's your number one. That's your number one in the rankings.
Yeah, the airport.
All right.
Yeah, it's the best. Look, you're excited to go on a trip. Money really doesn't matter. You're going to spend $22 on a Coors Light and probably still tip as well. It's amazing. Give me airport number one.
All right. What's your number two?
Okay, so we're not like popcorning back and forth.
I just said we're not drafting. I said you give me your top five, and you're like, yeah, I know. I got airport.
I think I got so excited. I got so excited
about an airport beer that
he can't get it out of his head.
That's right, dude.
Keeps replaying last week.
You know what? Will and I have had an airport beer at an airport Chili's on a Sunday.
Yes.
There you go.
Good time. Chili's on
That's a good ball game.
Airport Chili's hits more than regular Chili's. Go ahead, Will.
Okay, I'm going to go with tailgate number two. I think there's
a good one.
That's a good one. It's money.
I think when you're with your friends, other fans, the energy is always good. There's always hope, whether you're the favorite or not. I think it's always solid. Next one, I'm gonna go the golf course. There's nothing that after hitting a nice drive or a nice shot, you get to crack it open, and it's just refreshing to be outside. So I'll take the golf course with my third. We're doing five, right?
Yeah.
Man, I would say I'm gonna take the hot tub.
Oh, you're a hot tub beer guy?
Yeah. I think it's
solid.
I mean,
in reality, there's not really there's not a lot of bad places to consume.
Yeah, I know. That should have been the worst place to consume beer.
Yeah, I'll take
that. I'll take that fourth, and then my fifth one. I'm gonna take the beach.
Beach beer is good.
It's always good. You got to be safe. You got to pour it in the red Solo cup because you don't want to get a ticket. Like some people we know, I'm sure that's happened in the past, but nothing like kicking back in a chair, just nice waves out, cosmic rays, and a cold brew. It always slaps.
All right. We'll go to Matt second, but I do want to say Doug Brady, who's a quarterback coach in town, tuned into us at the airport right now, gave us his top five. His are more specific locations.
That's good.
So he went top of the Hyatt. Have you been to the top of the Hyatt?
No.
It's pretty nice.
I respect the pain. I mean,
top of the Hyatt's pretty nice. It's you can go up there. There's no like reservation or anything. Go to the bar and have a cocktail. It's pretty cool to be at the top of the Hyatt. He goes Deanie's by the Sea. I've never heard of that place. The airport where he's at right now is his third. Aero Club number 4. Aero Club down by the airport. And then number 5, Coronado Club at Petco Park. Coronado Club's pretty nice. You got the nice view of the bay and everything. So good on Doug. If you guys want to chime in that are watching, do it on Twitter, do it on Facebook. I mean, on everywhere that you can find our social media spots, and including Instagram on my Instagram page where Mrs. Musgrove is tuned in. So hi to Mrs. Musgrove.
All right.
Cafe Adesso is a great place to have a coffee.
I need to try it. I still haven't tried it yet.
It was
Mrs.
dude,
Musgrove,
it's good.
You want to expand your menu to social sparklers.
Mrs. Musgrove did a great thing when Coach and I were doing at Grossmont Center. She brought us coffee. She had some made. at Cafe Desert, brought it out to us. Such a nice gesture, and I appreciate it every day.
Yes.
Go ahead, Matt.
All right. Number 1, morning airport beer. Nothing is more sicko.
So he's going specific with the morning.
Yes.
airport.
Why?
There's nothing more sicko
He
the
said
same thing.
specific.
than going to the airport at 7 a.m.
I'm not getting a beer at 7 a.m.
and then going to grab a beer or 2
Or
while you
4.
wait an hour for your flight. I mean, well, and it's for all the reasons that you said. Where it's, hey, it doesn't matter. Time doesn't exist. You're on vacation. That's the official kickoff.
Some people have anxiety and they need to,
see,
get the edge off.
That reminds me when Will and I flew out to Texas and I had free drink coupons and Will was like, another one. The flight attendant was getting mad at Will for all the beer.
She was not getting mad. She was not
not
getting mad.
We're getting mad at you. That was too.
She was getting mad at you because you weren't using them.
No. Will was just like, I'll take another. He was just super loud about it. Another Diet Miller. He's just shaking his can. Guy was getting lit.
That was pre-COVID too. So that's when they actually gave good drinks out. They don't have the menu they have now is shit. It's terrible. Like they had nothing on there. I was like, nah, just give me a ginger ale. I'm not paying for that on the flight.
On his way to TC Ohio State at Jerry's World. It's a good time. All right. So Matt went specific with 6 a.m. airport beer or morning airport beer, whatever.
Yeah, might as well start the day on a good note. All right, number 2.
If your flight's at like 6 a.m., you'll get one at like
5. Why do you have a 6 a.m. flight?
They start serving at 6.
Oh, so you gotta hang around.
Yeah,
that's why Perez books his flights at 10, so we can get a nice TED before he goes.
And I get there 2 hours early anyway. So
you get there 8 days before the flight.
Second best beer.
2-hour guy too. It's okay.
Thanks, Will. This is gonna be controversial, but stadium beer. There's very few things that match the feeling of having your favorite beer in your hand in your seat right as first pitch is being delivered.
Are we doing stadium draft? Or do you like the cans?
Yeah, it doesn't matter for me. Whichever is the most convenient.
I think those $62 beers are the best, man.
Really get your bang for your buck when you're paying.
Yeah, you can get a 7-Eleven across the street that you're spending $68 on.
There is something about being at a ballpark, and
it is. That's a great pick.
That's your third one?
That's my second one.
Okay,
but good segue into my third one. Pre-game beer. I'm a big fan of down somewhere downtown early, wherever your spot is, Bubs or whatever.
So an actual pre of a sporting event beer, not like just pre-gaming.
Yes, pre-game of a sporting event beer.
Okay.
When we went to Texas Live.
Yes.
Right?
Texas
Live's
great.
It's like, hey, you know what? We left. We're here. We're here to have a good day. Let's set the vibes high. Let's go get a dub and bring me a beer and let's get this show on the road.
Pre-game beers are great.
Yeah.
I do like pre-game beers.
All right. Number 4. This is similar. I like a pool beer. A little bit more than a hot tub beer.
Do you do that at your house or like when you're on vacation?
Both.
I think I've ever had a pool. Have I had a beer in my own pool?
Yeah.
I think I have.
Yeah. I mean,
a beer in your own pool.
Summer, you're just jumping in your pool. You're hanging out with whoever. And then, hey, go throw me a beer. And they throw you a Michelob Ultra from 15 feet.
Does that include the hot tub beer? Or you just... Is a pool beer
different.
better than a hot tub beer?
I believe a pool beer is more superior. You can enjoy it more comfortably.
I'd agree with that. It's more refreshing.
That's
also, I'm thinking about our Circa experience.
Oh, yeah.
Stadium swim.
Pool
beer.
Well, we should have brought Will with us to Vegas.
Number 5, hotel beer.
I like a hotel beer.
I'm a big fan of a hotel. And I don't discriminate here. It could either be in the lobby at the hotel bar. It's a good one. But also, if you bring a couple upstairs and you got time to kill in between events and you want to have a Michelob Ultra or 2 in the comfort of your own room, go for it.
Is pretty solid. All right, so you got morning airport beer, and then you went with the stadium beer.
Yep.
And then what was your third? Was the pregame beer?
Yes.
And then you did pool, and then you did hotel. That's pretty good. I like that. We all went 1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go 1 through 5. My favorite beer. Where do I always want to get a beer? I like the stadium beer a lot. I do like that. Hotel bar hits very much. I'm gonna go. You know what? I find myself having a beer the most often, like golfing. Golf course beer. It's probably my number one. I think that hits every time.
Solid.
Then I'm
Very
gonna go
solid.
with it. Airport beer is always great. When you can get into the airport and you get there with enough time, you don't have to stress, and you can have a nice TED for your flight. Kind of get relaxed before it's kind of the start of vacation, or when you're flying home, it's the conclusion of it. You're still on vacation at the airport. You can get another beer on the way out. So that's my number 2. Stadium beer's definitely my number 3. I like that one a lot. I do like the pregame beer solid though. Stadium beer's good. I'm gonna go happy hour 4 as my number 4. That's good. The little 5 o'clock beer is good way.
How did we miss happy hour? Oh, that's a great one. That's
I'm gonna
a great
go happy
beer.
hour 4.
I can't believe I missed that.
I haven't done hotel one. I'm gonna go hotel bar 5. There's something about getting a bar there's something about getting a beer in the lobby of a hotel when you're on vacation. It's pretty nice. So I'm gonna go golf course, and then I went with stadium, if I'm not mistaken, and then I went with what was my third? I already forgot. Did I go? What was my third one? I had happy hour 4. No, I had happy hour 4, and I had hotel 5. I forgot my third one already. Golf course. Stadium.
I don't know. You didn't write it down.
No, I'm just riffing off the top of my head. Yeah, exactly. Nobody was paying attention, obviously. So thank you. Was it the pregame? No, it wasn't the pregame beer.
Hotel, golf.
Hotel was 5. Golf was 1. Stadium was 2. Happy hour was 4. What am I missing?
Hotel.
I had that 4, or I had that 5. Hotel was 5. Airport. It's airport beer.
Yeah.
Airport beer. So it was golf course, stadium, airport, happy hour, hotel.
I think we're going to need a lot of beers this season for the Padres. I have faith.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
Beer Fest beer.
Oh.
I mean, it kind of comes with the name, so it doesn't count.
Beer Fest, Ted. You have a specific beer fest you like the most? Because they have Cerveza Fest and stuff.
Just the typical beer fest works for me. But Cerveza Fest isn't bad. You get the Bad Bunny going. You get the Pacificos.
I like it better when they have
a good 2 hours.
I like it better when they get the craft stuff. You got the Alpine Duet out there.
I mean, that's what I would prefer. You get the Green Flash in the corner or the 394 on the hill.
There's something about drinking a beer at Bub's in the plastic glass cup. That's hits.
Yeah.
On the pregame.
I'm telling you.
What about
sports pregame beer?
That's good stuff.
What about a lunch beer? Like a work lunch beer? Like you're out to lunch.
I'm never out to lunch during work because I'm working during those hours.
Yeah, but you can leave for I guess your job. You can't do that. But some listeners out there listening, you can go out for lunch and it's like enjoying a lunch beer with coworkers or like a work function. Something like
work
that.
Function beer.
A work beer.
Work beer. Work function beer.
Not working beer, but work beer.
Function beer.
Yeah, you can't drink on the clock. So you're obviously, at lunch or, some sort of banquet or event. I'm trying to think of another. I can't believe I forgot happy hour. I'm kind of upset about that. That was I like mine. I actually like mine a lot. But
all right, we're gonna go with that then. We're gonna go with that. The other thing that we wanted to talk about, we're going a little bit over. Before we draft the mascots, there is something trending on social media right now of what was it post the picture of the game that you're proud to say you attended or something like that, right? What's the official phrasing on that?
The quote, I was there.
I was there.
Okay.
I was there. I like that. I think that's kind of cool. So when I was in college, I got to work for the football team, obviously, and that was when they had some pretty important moments, when I was out there. So there's a couple of games that I have in mind that I'm thinking of, but what is the most memorable sports moment that you attended, Will? I got a lot now. I mean, that Tennessee Alabama game too is pretty up there, but Tennessee's my brother's school. It's not necessarily my school. I could think of like TCU, Texas Tech that I trolled Texas Tech with today again when they on a post. But when Aaron Green caught the ball off Josh Doxson's hands in a shootout with Patrick Mahomes was pretty cool. Being at the Peach Bowl where they absolutely dismantled Ole Miss is another one. But those I'm just kind of throwing out ideas of some games that I've been at as I think out loud. What is it like for you? I mean, what games have you been at with your teams? You're just like, I was there.
Well, it's tougher with like the your team's aspect because there's been events where like
Let's go with just events in general. I mean, it's like to me, it's probably
just
more special if it's one of your teams, but
yeah, off the top, Allen Fieldhouse was freaking awesome. I mean, that's like pretty recent. I remember,
was the game itself iconic?
I guess no, not really. See, this is harder. I remember one. Like my dad took me to the San Diego Chargers Denver game Sunday night, the year that he won. Tomlinson won MVP. This is in Colorado. They were on Sunday night. They got flexed, and they were down 24-7, and they came back and won that game. Like Tomlinson, I think had like 4 touchdowns. He had like a long receiving one. Nate Kading like pooched a kick that like I'm pretty sure Darren Williams, RIP, like botched and was like down at the 1 yard line. So that was cool. God, I'm trying to think. I feel like I haven't been to a lot. Oh, I know one. Last spring, the Nuggets Suns playoff game where Nikola Jokic showed Matt Ishbia, the Suns owner, and then I think Jokic had like 55 points. Durant and Booker combined for like 75. That was an insane game. Came down to the wire. I don't know.
Here's another one too that's interesting. Do you remember when Kendrick Morales broke his leg on the Grand Slam?
Oh yeah,
I was at that game. Wow. I was at that game.
That's a story.
Is that when like he jumped?
He hits a walk-off Grand Slam for the Angels, and he jumps on home plate and he shatters his leg.
What? Like that was so crazy because he'd never seen that.
Yeah. I was at that game. My sister was dancing at Showstoppers, which is at Disneyland every year, a dance competition. And my dad took me and my brother to the Angels game on the Saturday. It was like a Saturday day game or something like that to like break up the monotony of, hanging out with the mouse and also like watching dancers the whole day. So we went to the Angels game and we were like, it was one of those deals where my dad pulled a, Perez, he pulled a Dennis Martin where like we stood up and like at the railing for like the final pitch. And as soon as they hit the home run, we started walking out, right? Kind of one of those deals, beat the traffic. So we pulled a Dennis Martin and we're leaving the ball. And we're like walking on the concourse and like the celebration like stopped. It's like jazz music stops. And we're like, what's going on? Like around home plate. Like that's super weird. We get back to the dance competition. And one of the dads was like, did you guys see what happened in the Angels game? And we were like, yeah, we were there, like walk-off Grand Slam. He's like, yeah, but like he broke his leg. You're like, what? He did what? He's like, yeah, he he jumped on the plate and he broke his leg.
This is before smartphones and like how like instantaneously you could have a replay and like news breakdown of it. Yeah,
we were walking, I didn't know what happened. And then he was like, dude, did you see what happened in the Angels game? And Kendrick Morales broke his leg. I mean, that's a wild ball, like a random ball game to be at, And
you missed like the most memorable part.
I mean, we saw the ball land over the fence, and then we saw a sad group of Angels standing around home plate. That was basically what I remember
to this day.
Right. So that, I mean, that's not one I would probably pick, but another example. What do you got, Butch?
I got 2. Alabama, Tennessee.
That was pretty.
I mean,
that's pretty up there.
So badass. I'm so jealous you got to go there. That's
I told
awesome.
you we were going, and I said you should meet us out there.
You didn't say shit. You didn't invite me. You sent me snaps after you were already there.
Do a lot of these, and you're just like, oh yeah, and then no.
You're so full of it.
So third Saturday in October is number 1, and then number 2. This one's, I guess, more personal to me.
Are you ranking these?
No, I'm just saying, like, these are the 2 that I think of. You know what? Why don't we draft them?
I'm not drafting these.
The second one is Oregon and Washington State 2018. We hosted College Game Day.
That's cool, dude.
And that
for sure.
was, I mean, you can look it up.
College game day while you're in college.
College Game Day while you're in college. First
That's
time,
so cool.
Probably last time that they were in Pullman. I mean, there was a state of emergency issued for like the city for that, 48 hours that they were there or whatever, and all the Coug flags and the entire day. Winning that game against Oregon, against Justin Herbert, that's when I knew he was a fraud. When he went down 27-0 to Gardner Minshew.
That's why this guy doesn't like him.
Oregon. And we did storm the field that day.
Nice.
Because we were 25.
And there was no injuries.
There was no injuries. A lot of couches got hurt and burned and ripped apart that night, but that's all right. So those are the two games that I'll look back on, 40, 50 years from now and be like, yeah, I'm glad I was there.
Will?
I mean, at the game, like Matt, you were at that game.
That's like
in the stadium.
I was there.
God, I feel like a loser now. San Diego State beating Stanford, that was cool because I was still in school. Got to storm the field. No one got hurt except for the guy that jumped off of like a 15-foot wall.
Yeah, he definitely got hurt for sure.
Yeah. Man, this is tough. I can't even. God, I feel like a loser. I feel like I haven't had those moments. I feel like I always witness it on TV.
You got to pick a game, man. You got to pick a game.
Were you at any San Diego State games from 2019 to 2020?
What about Aztec basketball?
Yeah, like that Malachi 3 against San Jose
State. You were covering some of those games with me.
Were you not there for that one?
Yeah, but I was working it, so I didn't enjoy it.
You were there. You were there.
Yeah, point. But that doesn't. Okay, yeah, sure. That was that was a cool game, but it didn't match up to what you guys were doing.
This guy's forgetting all the games he's attended in his life.
No, because yes, they were those were awesome moments, but as it measures up to your guys', no, it doesn't measure up.
I think the Tennessee Alabama game was pretty cool. The experience was pretty top notch. To watch, to be at the game that Tennessee won for the first time in 20 years. With Morgan Wallen was there. Peyton Manning was there.
The after stories on
God,
yeah, that was nuts too. But I don't know, that Texas Tech game to me is still, it's such an iconic game for TCU where they roll into Lubbock, number 3 in the country, and win on this BS tip drill in the end zone on a phantom foot in the back of the end zone to beat Patrick Mahomes and Texas Tech and eliminate their spoiler of us is so good. But the Peach Bowl was awesome. Watching TCU in a New Year's Six Bowl absolutely dismantle an SEC team that beat Bama that year was really fun too. So probably those two really stick out to me in terms of I was at that game for sure. I think some of the Padre games were kind of cool. I mean, it would have been nice. The thing that we gave up, Perez and I, for Tennessee Alabama was being able to watch the Padres play the Dodgers at home for the playoff series, because you and I would have been
awesome.
Yeah, that would have been sweet. And to see Petco Park with more Padres fans than Dodgers fans for the first time ever would have been awesome too. We went up to some of the playoff games in LA, but I'd probably go with those two TCU games. We're gonna go 3 rounds of a draft here because we're running out of time, and we're talking mascots again. We had so much fun talking mascots the last time. We went over this at the pre-show meeting. Come on, this should not be catching you by surprise. Frogs win, by the way.
The 5 team in the country won.
8-0.
Who's surprised?
8-0. It's just another Tuesday night. Just another Tuesday night for the Frogs.
Hey, they went to extra innings against that school that's going to be in the WCC next year.
You know what?
Hang
the banner in Pullman. We went to extra innings with TCU on a Tuesday, and they'll probably lose to Arizona tomorrow. Whatever. I mean, the fact that we're going to extra innings
beating Arizona isn't for every school.
That's right. Only USD can do that in baseball. Drafting mascots.
Yep.
Again, this is the guy that loves drafting mascots. Yep. For the kid that was terrified of mascots, loves his mascots.
Look, you got to grow at some point in your life.
I'm the same as you. I love the mascots. We're gonna go pro mascots this time. We're gonna go 3 rounds. Is it my turn to have the first pick?
Yeah, you got the first pick.
Okay, pro mascots. I'm taking the Philly Fanatic. No Windsock comment.
No, I mean, you got to pay homage, right?
That
We'll give you the Fanatic.
I like the Fanatic.
Will, you're up.
Will's got second pick.
Will.
Can I be third?
You want the
All right,
you
Will
want
has traded his draft pick
to Butch
Me.
T. Cougar.
Yep. All right. I'm going to go with Yuppie. Yuppie's the Montreal Canadiens mascot, and he used to be the Expos mascot. He's known for being thrown out of a ball game by Tommy Lasorda because he took a nap on top of the dugout.
That's amazing.
You can look it up. He comes from the same family of the Fanatic. You know,
About, wait, Yuppie?
Yuppie.
The Canadiens mascot.
Yeah, but he was the Expos guy.
Oh, and then
when the
Montreal
Expos,
stole him, the
Yeah,
Canadiens?
yeah.
Canadiens?
Yeah. So Yuppie,
All
first
right.
round pick.
I got another one that I totally don't know why I didn't pick at number one, but hopefully he comes back to me on the board because he's sliding right now, and I'm looking at him on the draft board. Go ahead, Will.
God, these fucking mascots always kill me. I hate having Mr. Red, I guess, is my
The one, Mr. Red or Mr. Red Legs? There's two. Of them.
Oh Jesus, Mr. Red Legs for the Cincinnati
You
Reds.
want the mustache, right? You want the guy with the mustache?
Yeah.
The mustache guy. Okay, Mr. Red Legs. That's money. I'll
take that guy. And then snake draft. Jeez. Give me Rocky, the Denver Nuggets.
Nuggets guy.
Mascot. Is he still the mascot? I don't even know if he's still the mascot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is probably.
Matt has like an almanac of all the fucking mascots. Like he knows every mascot and
If
their color.
if you hung out with me, Perez,
I can't do that. I just the mascots are just
and our buddy Mike, who's too afraid to be on the podcast, you'd be talking mascots all the time.
All right, my turn.
Yeah.
Number 2, Dinger.
Oh,
We're going to keep it in Denver, and we're going to keep it in Colorado.
Dinger's
Give me Dinger.
money.
Oh, that's a good one. God damn it. That's a really good one. Why the hell?
I actually met Dinger.
I like Dinger.
That's a solid one.
I scouted out Coors Field for like 3 innings to find Dinger, and he was on top of the dugout, and he was making his way up the aisle. And
so do you just go up and like take pictures of them? Like, do you have like a whole album with the mascots?
He might be the only one I have a picture of, and yeah. But I was, Dinger, Dinger.
Yeah, right. So I got 2 picks.
You have 2 picks.
Jazz Bear. Jazz Bear's money, dude. I love Jazz Bear. Jazz Bear is the greatest. He's like
he can't be the greatest. He already picked.
That's a steal in the draft because he's really the greatest mascot ever. The guy flips like motorcycles and does all these extreme things. He was on Nitro Circus just doing insane stunts for no reason. Like nobody is more badass than Jazz Bear. Jazz Bear is the guy. That's my 2nd round pick. My 3rd round pick is the Pittsburgh Penguins mascot. Iceberg the Penguin is a show. That guy is great. That's my 3rd round.
The best is like that, like this is Sports Center commercial where like the devil's trying to turn up the thermostat. And Iceberg comes in to turn it down because he's a penguin. Yeah.
All right, those are my 3 mascots so far. Go ahead.
I'm a little torn here on my last pick because I don't want to leave any of these.
I got 2 picks left. I'm in a good spot.
I'm gonna go Lucille.
No, Lucille's money, dude.
I'm gonna keep it in the NL West.
That's a good mascot. Lucille.
Great name, Lucille.
It could be a male name or a female name.
Great build on Lucille. I think it's very important when you look at mascots. It's how they're shaped.
The
like whiskers and like the glasses
the sunglass,
and like the backwards lid
bit with the backwards lid is money.
Seeing him lift up his jersey, behind the dish when the Padres are up there. I like Lucille. Kind of looks like Whoopi Goldberg if Whoopi was a mascot. That's just the vibes I get.
My pick?
Yep.
I'll stay home. I'll take the swinging Friar. He's hitting 3rd for me. So
what a Windsock.
Showing
Will is the Windsock of the week.
I thought you were
Why? What's wrong with the swinging Friar?
Guys kissing up to his local mascot.
I just don't like. I don't like. Hey, like I'm looking at these other ones. I just hate mascots. They're just so stupid.
I hate mascots. Wow.
You hate Surfer?
Who is that? Surfer?
The Carolina Panthers guy.
Were you not picking up?
Like, okay, you know what? This might come. I would bet that sometime in the future, if we're ever at a bar together and there's like a trivia and somehow mascots come up, like we're just gonna let
Nobody's
Matt
getting
just
us.
cook.
Yeah.
Like
Nobody's getting us.
I would just let Matt just completely take over and win us a free $20 tab of booze,
Matt,
and it would be the best thing. And that's
through my
he's
mascot.
going to use that skill to the max.
Yeah, too bad Mike's not on here. He's already he heard me talking smack about him and he logged off because he's soft. doesn't want to be on the pod. Windsock. All right, so
I want to redo. That was a terrible drag. I hate. You know what? It's okay because I want
some
the
more
college
rounds.
one.
Will
And
we can extend the draft?
we could extend the draft to 5.
Yeah, you want to do some undrafted free agents?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I want the Toronto Raptor.
Good one.
Wait, hold on. We're just he already picked his 2, right? So like,
yeah, but he's snaking. He's snaking.
He snaked twice. He hit the 2 in a row. Then it's back to who's the middle guy.
He took the Friar, then he took the Raptor, and now it's me.
Oh, I thought okay, that's fine.
This guy's great. Blue, the Colts mascot. The guy,
he loves to shake his
he loves to shake his belly underneath like the goalpost, and like he's got the thing that comes out of his nose, and Blue's a solid mascot.
I'm gonna go with the Pirate Parrot. I like the Pirate Parrot.
Good call.
Pirate Parrot's pretty money. I like the Pirate Parrot.
Pittsburgh knows what they're doing.
Yeah, their mascots are pretty nice.
Wait,
no, I got another one.
Yeah.
I don't really like. I mean, it's funny. Like I had to look up like top mascots just to kind of like refresh my memory on some of these mascots, and yeah, they really love like Jackson DeVille. Like he
does some crazy shit. You're talking about Jazz Bear. I mean, Jackson
Bear,
DeVille's up there. That guy's jumping off at the 300 level.
I mean, he is, but he's not. I don't know.
He's seen a lot of Jaguars football, so I would too. But
I don't think he's that cool. I know you hate your mascot in the National Football League.
Yeah, I would sacrifice Rowdy.
Guy hates Rowdy. Talk about a guy. The guy loves mascots. Hates the Cowboys mascot. Hates him. I'm gonna go with there's so many mascots on here. It's ridiculous. Do we like any Major League Baseball mascots? I'd rather punch Mr. Met in the face than put him on my team.
What about Mrs. Met?
Yeah, I'm indifferent to Mrs. Met. I don't really care either way. Is Mr. Met and Mrs. Met blowing on trumpets? I like Sir Purr just because of that video, but I'm gonna keep it local. I'm gonna be a Windsock. I'm gonna take Wild Wing, and I'm Ducks. Wild Wing's a solid mascot.
When he got lit on fire.
Wild Wing.
That was a good moment.
Nobody likes Bernie Brewer.
No.
I'm surprised Perez didn't take Bernie Brewer. That's like his second team. I mean, Will's second team is the Brew Crew. You know, like Bernie Brewer.
No, he just didn't get it done for me. I guess my last one.
Oh, I didn't go yet.
Shot? Oh,
hopefully he doesn't take Slapshot.
It probably is.
Who's Slapshot?
The Washington Capitals, like Eagle.
Oh, nice.
Patriotic. Love your country.
Nice. I don't think Perez is gonna take that. So
no, I wasn't. I'm gonna take Sir Purr.
Sir Purr.
Why not? I think he's funny.
Who's that? It's Sir Purr.
You call him that?
Is that the mascot?
Do you remember like when the Panthers, was it last year when they had like the 3D Panther like running across the stadium?
Oh yeah,
that's you guys. Yeah, that was gnarly. I don't know, whoever was on shrooms, like on the the graphics team that made that, like that was pretty badass. All right, so you took Sir Purr. Yeah, I'll take it Slapshot.
I'm gonna go with all right. So my team was the Philly Fanatic, Jazz Bear, money, Parrot Pirate, or Pirate whatever his name is. I had Wild Wing, and then what was the other one I had? Why did I forget my other one again? What was the other dude I had?
Iceberg.
Oh yeah, I had Iceberg as my third pick. So it was really, I had Philly Fanatic, Jazz Bear, Iceberg, Pirate Parrot, and my last pick was
Wild Wing.
Wild Wing.
All right. My 5, Yuppie, Dinger, Lucille,
I like Lucille.
Blue, and Sir Purr.
Super.
I just think you like saying Sir Purr.
I do. It's
That
a good
video
name.
is funny. Have you seen that video, Will?
Yes.
You call him that?
Well, it's also good this year. The Panthers they're playing the Falcons. Both of them were dog shit teams.
Awful.
It was raining. There was probably like 6,000 people in attendance. Sir Purr had like a raincoat on underneath the field goal post.
It's like the worst game to watch on Red Zone.
So Desmond Ritter and Bryce Young.
Ugh.
Will hates Mascot.
All right, my team, Mr. Redlegs for the Cincinnati Reds, Rocky the Mountain Lion, the Denver Nuggets mascot. Paying homage to our beloved Padres with the Swinging Friar, the Raptor for the Toronto Raptors, and Slapshot for the Washington Capitals.
And that's our draft. And that's our show. A little bit longer than we wanted it to be. We talked on a lot of different things. Be sure to follow us on all types of social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok, Gaslamp's Finest on all of those. You can also follow me on social media, B_SURP on everything, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube page as well. Our website, gaslampsfinest.com, or all of our stuff is posted. We also got some blogs coming your way on the website as well by these two fine gentlemen. And we'll have more content for you throughout the weeks on all of our social media platforms. And we'll see you guys next week. Where can you follow Perez and Galvez at?
Matt Perez 24 on the Twitter machine.
Nice.
And Matt M Perez _, on the Instagram.
Will?
My handle's at Will Galvez with 3 L's, WILLL GALVEZ.
It's a lot of L's.
On everything.
On everything. That's Will Galvez. That's Matt Perez. I'm Braden Surprenant. Signing off. We'll see you guys next week on Why Start a Podcast, Gaslamp's Finest Media.